If you're waking up softer, less frequent, or maybe not at all, it's not just a sign of aging, it's a warning. A warning that your body's natural systems for blood flow, hormone balance, and sexual vitality are slowly shutting down. Not overnight, but gradually, silently, until one day you no longer feel like yourself. But here's the truth no one tells you. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a urologist and men's health specialist with over 3 decades of experience helping men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim their confidence and their erections naturally. No pills, no gimmicks, just a smarter way to start your day. Because what if I told you the first 10 minutes of your morning could completely reprogram how your body performs, not just physically, but sexually? That by doing 8 simple, science-backed habits right after waking, you could restore your ability to get and stay rock hard whenever you want? Most men have never been shown this. That's why so many suffer in silence. But not you. Not anymore. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to guide you step by step through the exact routine I give my patients. A routine designed to reignite blood flow, jumpstart testosterone, and awaken the part of you that's still very much alive. So stay with me. The most important part is coming next. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell, so you never miss powerful, science-backed tips to help you feel strong, confident, and alive again. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. So I know how to serve you better. Alright, let's begin with the very first step. And it might surprise you. It has nothing to do with pills or exercises. It starts with what you drink the moment you wake up. Because the truth is, the strength of your erection begins in an unexpected place: your liver. Let me show you why a simple glass of warm lemon water would be the most powerful move you make all day. Habit 1. The liver-waking morning detox drink. When I tell men that one of the most powerful things they can do for their erection happens before breakfast, before caffeine, before anything, most don't believe me, but it's true. I've seen it time and time again. The first thing you put into your body each morning either fuels your energy and hormones or slows you down before the day even starts. And when it comes to sexual health, that first choice matters more than most men realize. Let me take you back to a moment I had with one of my older patients, Jack, 67 years old. Jack was frustrated, tired, and convinced his best days were behind him. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Doc, I just want to wake up feeling like a man again." And that's when I told him about something ridiculously simple: a glass of warm water with the juice of half a lemon. That's it. It sounds basic, but the science behind it is powerful. You see, the liver plays a key role in testosterone production. It breaks down excess estrogen, filters out toxins, and regulates hormones that control everything from fat storage to sexual desire. But as we age, the liver becomes sluggish. Years of processed foods, alcohol, medications, and stress wear it down. And a worn-down liver means lower testosterone and higher inflammation, 2 enemies of healthy erections. Warm lemon water first thing in the morning helps jumpstart liver function. The lemon activates the liver's natural detox pathways. It stimulates bile production, improves digestion, and lowers systemic inflammation. More importantly, it helps clear out the estrogenic compounds that build up in the male body. Compounds that slowly, silently weaken your hormonal balance. That little glass of lemon water becomes the ignition switch. It tells your body, "Wake up, it's time to get moving, it's time to be strong again." What's more, the hydration alone has benefits. Most men wake up dehydrated, and dehydration reduces blood volume and increases stress hormones. Not a great combination if you're hoping to rise in more ways than one. A properly hydrated body responds better to stimulation, to movement, to life itself. And for men like Jack, within 2 weeks of adopting this single habit, before changing anything else, he felt the difference. He had more energy in the morning, his bloating went down, his mood lifted, and yes, the strength in his lower body, the kind he'd been missing, started to return, all from a drink we usually overlook. It's these small, intentional choices that add up to big change, but this is just the beginning. Because what comes next is something your body has been craving every morning without you even realizing it. And it doesn't cost a thing. In fact, it's already shining outside your window. Let's talk about sunlight, testosterone, and how just 10 minutes a day can completely change your bedroom performance. If you're still here and these habits are resonating with you, drop a number 1 in the comments so I know you're walking this journey with me. Now let's keep going. It's time for habit number 2. Habit 2, 10 minutes of early sunlight. Exposure. There's something almost sacred about the early morning sun. It's quiet, still. The air feels different, but far too many men miss this window entirely, and in doing so, they unknowingly rob their bodies of one of the most powerful triggers for sexual health: natural light. I remember a gentleman named Walter, 72, retired teacher, good sense of humor, but visibly discouraged about how things had changed in the bedroom. He'd tried different supplements, exercises, even considered medication. Nothing worked long-term. When we reviewed his routine, I asked a simple question. When's the last time you stepped outside in the morning? Just stood there and let the light hit your skin? He laughed, said something about being too old to sunbathe. I smiled and said, Walter, I'm not talking about a beach vacation. I'm talking about a prescription from nature, delivered free every morning. You just have to open the door. Here's why it matters. Your body has a rhythm, your circadian clock. And that rhythm controls the release of hormones like cortisol, melatonin, and yes, testosterone. Early morning sunlight, ideally within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, hits the photoreceptors in your eyes and tells your brain, it's morning, it's time to rise. That signal cuts off melatonin, the sleep hormone, and spikes a healthy wave of cortisol, which, contrary to popular belief, isn't always bad. In the right amount, at the right time, cortisol gives you energy, focus, and jumpstarts testosterone production. It literally helps signal your testicles to get to work. And it doesn't take much. Just 10 minutes of direct exposure, no sunglasses, no windows between you and the light, is enough to reset your hormonal chemistry for the day. It also stimulates vitamin D production, which is essential for testosterone synthesis and blood vessel health. Low vitamin D has been linked to low libido, depression, fatigue, and yes, erectile dysfunction. Walter didn't think it would matter, but he agreed to try it. Each morning, coffee in hand, he'd sit on his porch for 10 minutes before doing anything else. Within a week, his energy improved. His sleep got deeper. Most importantly, he started noticing a feeling he hadn't felt in a long time: spontaneous desire. That signal from within, the one that makes you feel alive again. There's something primal, powerful, and healing about reconnecting with light, not just as a source of warmth, but as a trigger for vitality. If you've been waking up groggy, sluggish, or emotionally flat, don't blame age. You might just need to step outside. But now that we've activated your internal clock and signaled the body to produce energy and testosterone, we need to do something even more direct, something that boosts blood flow where it matters most. And it's not what you think. You won't need pills or machines, just your breath. In fact, the next habit is something I teach even my younger patients, and it's one of the fastest ways to improve erections naturally. Let's talk about it. Habit 3. Alternate nostril breathing, 2-3 minutes. Let me tell you something I wish more men knew. The quality of your erection isn't just about testosterone or even circulation. It's also about your nervous system. When you're tense, stressed, or anxious, especially the kind of chronic, low-grade stress many older men carry silently, your body goes into defense mode. Blood flow moves away from your core, your libido drops, and your body starts choosing survival over desire. The thing is, most of us don't even realize we're stuck in that state. It becomes normal. I had a patient named Frank, 69, a former engineer, logical guy, always looking for solutions. He came to me feeling flat, emotionally, sexually, even physically. He had the labs, the scans, the pills. but something wasn't connecting. I asked him one question. When was the last time you just paused and breathed? He raised an eyebrow. I told him it might sound strange, but there's a simple breathing technique that can reset your entire system. And it only takes 2 minutes. It's called alternate nostril breathing. It comes from yogic tradition, but it's been studied by modern science as well. You sit quietly, close your eyes, and begin to breathe in through one nostril while blocking the other, then switch sides. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left. You do this slowly, calmly, for about 2 to 3 minutes. The effect? Profound. This practice activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that tells you you're safe, that it's okay to relax, that it's okay to feel. It lowers your heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and most importantly for men like Frank, it increases nitric oxide levels. Now, why does that matter? Because nitric oxide is the molecule that opens up your blood vessels, especially the ones that supply blood to the penis. Without it, erections simply don't happen. With it, blood flows freely, naturally, and without strain. Frank committed to doing it every morning. Quiet room, slow breath, no distractions. Within a week, he started sleeping better. Within 2, his energy lifted. And then something even better happened. His spontaneous erections returned. Not forced, not anxious, just natural. For the first time in years, he felt like his body was cooperating with him instead of resisting. What I love about this practice is how accessible it is. No equipment, no noise, just you, your breath, and a few quiet moments to let your body come back to balance. It's gentle, but powerful. And in a world full of noise and pressure, it offers something rare: control. Now that we've calmed the nervous system and opened the blood vessels, it's time to talk about something even more fundamental: your fuel. Because what you eat, and more importantly, when you eat, could be the very reason your tea. Habit 4. Intermittent fasting, delayed breakfast. For most of his life, Henry had a routine. Wake up, eat a big breakfast, sip coffee, maybe toast with jam or a stack of pancakes. You know, a typical start to the day. When he came to me at 66, he was dealing with fatigue, stubborn weight gain, low libido, and what he called vanishing morning wood. He figured it was all just part of getting older. But when we looked closely at his routine, I asked him one simple question. What if skipping breakfast, just for a few hours, could help bring your energy, focus, and erections back? He looked puzzled. Skip breakfast? I thought that was the most important meal of the day. It's what we were all told, but the truth is, for men over 60, the body responds very differently to food than it used to, especially early in the day. You see, when you eat first thing in the morning, especially carb-heavy meals, your insulin levels spike. That triggers a hormonal cascade that favors fat storage, suppresses growth hormone, and slows down testosterone production. The result? Less energy, more belly fat, and weaker sexual response. Intermittent fasting, or simply delaying breakfast until later in the morning, gives your body time to shift into fat-burning mode. That shift is critical. When your body is burning fat for fuel, it produces ketones and supports natural hormone balance. Testosterone levels rise, inflammation drops, and insulin sensitivity improves, which is a huge deal for erectile function. Men with insulin resistance are far more likely to experience erectile dysfunction, not because of age, but because the blood vessels that supply the penis become damaged and sluggish. With Henry, we started small. Instead of eating at 7 a.m., he waited until 10 or 11. He still had his coffee, black, no cream, no sugar, and stayed hydrated with lemon water. At first, it was a challenge. The body resists change, especially when it's been fed on a clock for decades. But within 10 days, he felt lighter. Not just in his body, but in his mind. He was sharper, more alert, and, to his surprise, he started waking up with that familiar firmness again. Something he hadn't felt in nearly a year. There's something incredibly empowering about letting your body reset each morning, not rushing to fill it, but giving it space to repair, regulate, and rebuild. Intermittent fasting isn't starvation, it's restoration. It's giving your hormones a chance to lead again, instead of being drowned out by sugar and routine. Of course, fasting alone won't carry the entire load. Once your body's been gently pushed into a state of balance, it's time to nurture something deeper. Not in your muscles, but in your mind, because what you think, what you feel, and how you connect with the world around you may be the missing link to stronger, more reliable intimacy. And in the next habit, we're going to tap into a tool that rewires your brain and even your heart. And most men never think it has anything to do with erections, but it does, more than you'd ever expect. Habit 5. The gratitude activation. I remember sitting across from Raymond, a 70-year-old widower who came to see me not just for his declining erections, but for something much deeper. He didn't say it outright, but you could see it in his eyes. The weight of time, the silence of loss, the slow fading of connection. He told me his body didn't respond the way it used to, that he felt flat, like a machine just going through the motions. And as I listened, I realized what we needed to work on wasn't just blood flow. It was his heart, not in the cardiac sense, but emotionally. His capacity to feel joy, presence, intimacy. I asked him a question that caught him off guard. "Raymond, what are 3 things you're still grateful for each morning?" He paused, thought, and gave me a quiet smile. "I haven't really thought about that in years," he admitted. But here's what science and experience has shown me time and time again. Gratitude has a profound impact on our biology. It's not just a feel-good buzzword. When you practice gratitude, your body shifts. Cortisol, the stress hormone, drops. Heart rate slows. The immune system gets stronger. And yes, sexual function improves. Because when you calm the nervous system and open the emotional pathways, your body responds. Especially in areas tied to arousal, touch, and intimacy. I told Raymond to start small. Every morning, before the noise of the day, write down 3 things he felt genuinely thankful for. They didn't have to be big, just honest. A memory, a sunrise, a friend's voice. I also asked him to send 1 message each morning, a short text, voice note, or email. To someone he appreciated. Nothing fancy. Just a sentence or 2 to say, "I'm thinking of you." Within 2 weeks, something remarkable began to shift. Raymond started smiling more. He felt more present, more at ease, and with that shift came another. His morning erections started to return, not forced, not mechanical, just natural, the body responding to a man who finally felt connected again. To himself, to others, and to the moment. You see, as we age, we often lose the rituals that kept our hearts open. And without that emotional spark, our sexual energy dims. But when you reignite that spark, when you shift out of fear and back into appreciation, the body follows. It always does. Because desire is as much emotional as it is physical. Gratitude is what prepares the soil. But now that your heart is open, it's time to turn inward, to your mind, your inner picture of who you are. Because the next habit taps into a part of the brain most men never think to use. And yet, when activated properly, it can rewire your desire, reshape your confidence, and help you feel more alive and magnetic than you felt in years. It only takes 60 seconds. But those 60 seconds might just reshape how your body responds, from the inside out. Let me show you how. Habit 6. 60 seconds of sexual visualization. I remember the first time I introduced this idea to a patient named Charles. He was 68, divorced, recently retired, and struggling with a loss of identity more than anything else. His words stuck with me. "I don't recognize the man in the mirror anymore, Doc. I used to feel powerful, desired. Now I just feel invisible." That kind of quiet pain runs deeper than most people realize, and it often shows up not just in mood, but in performance, or the lack of it. So I offered him something unconventional. I said, "Every morning, I want you to close your eyes for 60 seconds and see yourself. Not as you are now, but as you remember yourself at your best." He raised an eyebrow. "You mean like a daydream?" I nodded. "Exactly, but with purpose." What I was asking Charles to do was called sexual visualization. A focused, intentional practice that activates parts of the brain tied to memory, emotion, desire, and confidence. When you mentally rehearse yourself as strong, attractive, and sexually capable, your brain starts to send signals that influence your chemistry. Dopamine rises, testosterone follows, your posture changes, your energy shifts, and gradually, the body begins to believe what the mind consistently imagines. For Charles, that 60-second practice became a turning point. He'd close his eyes after his morning gratitude, take a deep breath, and vividly picture himself at his most confident. Shirt tucked in, walking taller, locking eyes with his partner, feeling wanted. He imagined what it felt like to be deeply connected again, not just physically, but emotionally, and it lit something up inside him. It didn't happen overnight, but after a few weeks, he felt more engaged, more alive. He said it was like flipping on a light in a room that had gone dim for years. There's real science behind it too. Visualization isn't fantasy, it's rehearsal. It's training your body to follow the vision your mind creates. Elite athletes use this to enhance performance. Surgeons do it before complex procedures. Why not apply it to the most intimate part of your life? All it takes is a quiet space and a willingness to see yourself differently, not through the lens of aging or decline, but through the lens of possibility. You're not pretending, you're remembering, and that memory has power. The truth is, the body responds to belief. When you begin each day with a picture of who you want to be, sexually, emotionally, energetically, your systems begin to align. Your posture improves. Your tone of voice shifts. Your hormones follow the signal. But now that you've awakened your mind and triggered the chemistry of confidence, we're ready to move into something physical, a simple motion, an ancient technique. And for men over 60, it may be one of the most underrated tools for unlocking better erections, better circulation, and better prostate health. You won't need a gym and you won't break a sweat, but it might be the most important 2 minutes of your morning. Let's get into it. Habit 7. Horse stance plus arm swings. 2 minutes. It was a rainy afternoon when Thomas, a 74-year-old former firefighter, came into my office. He still had a strong frame, but he looked worn down, like the years had pulled his energy into the ground. "I still feel the fire in my head," he said, "but my body, especially down there, it's like the pilot light went out." He had tried medications, supplements, even yoga classes. Nothing stuck. That's when I introduced him to a movement so simple, so grounded, that he laughed when I demonstrated it. "Seriously, Doc? Just stand there and swing my arms?" I smiled. "Not just stand, you're going to root yourself, you're going to breathe into it, and you're going to feel your power return from the ground up." This movement, a combination of the horse stance and gentle arm swings, comes from ancient Chinese healing traditions. It's been used for centuries to promote internal energy flow, stimulate circulation, and awaken the pelvic floor. For men over 60, it's one of the most overlooked yet powerful exercises to restore sexual vitality. You begin by standing with your feet a bit wider than shoulder width apart. Slightly bend your knees, drop your hips into a stable position, like you're riding a horse. Relax your shoulders and start gently swinging your arms forward and backward, letting the motion flow from your center. You don't need force, you just need rhythm. Breathe as you move. What this does inside your body is remarkable. First, it promotes blood flow through the pelvic region, the exact area most critical for firm, lasting erections. It also stimulates the lymphatic system, which helps flush out toxins and reduce inflammation around the prostate. And because it requires balance and core engagement, it activates your deep postural muscles, which many men lose connection with over time. But it does something even more important. It grounds you. In just 2 minutes, it pulls you out of your head and back into your body. That disconnection, that numbness that so many men feel, this simple movement starts to dissolve it. You begin to feel your body again, to trust it again. For Thomas, it became his anchor. Every morning after his visualization, he'd get into his stance, swing his arms, and let the movement reconnect him to his strength. It wasn't dramatic, but over the course of a few weeks, he noticed something shift. His energy improved, his posture changed. And those quiet moments in the morning gave him the confidence to approach intimacy again, not with anxiety, but with calm, grounded presence. This habit reminds you that power isn't always in intensity. Sometimes it's in consistency, in listening to the body, in restoring flow where it's been blocked for years. Now that you've reconnected your mind and body and activated the center of your masculine energy, there's one final step to seal the deal. It's quick, it's bold, and it triggers a cascade of benefits that amplify everything we've done so far. It might make you flinch the first time, but once you feel the impact, you'll never skip it again. Let's finish strong. Habit 8. Cold splash or shower. Finish. Optional, but powerful. It's funny how the smallest things tend to trigger the biggest changes. I remember one morning, just before a follow-up call with one of my longtime patients, Greg, a 71-year-old former Navy officer, I asked how his new routine was going. He paused and said, "Doc, everything's great, but that cold shower thing, you're lucky I trust you." We both laughed, because I get it. At first it sounds extreme, especially when you've just climbed out of a warm bed, but what Greg didn't expect was how that 30-second blast of cold water would make him feel more alive than he had in years. This habit isn't about punishing yourself. It's about reminding your body and your mind what it means to wake up completely. Cold exposure, even just a brief one, activates your sympathetic nervous system in a way that's controlled and healthy. It causes a rapid release of norepinephrine, a natural chemical that sharpens focus, boosts alertness, and constricts blood vessels. Counterintuitively leads to better vascular flexibility and long-term blood flow improvement. And when we're talking about erections, that blood vessel flexibility matters a lot. But there's more. Cold water also reduces systemic inflammation, lowers cortisol over time, and trains your cardiovascular system to adapt to sudden shifts, meaning your body becomes better at redirecting blood where it's needed, when it's needed. That includes the pelvic region. That includes arousal. That includes performance. Now, I'm not asking you to stand in an icy shower like a Navy SEAL for 5 minutes. Start small. Just 10 seconds at the end of your normal shower. Let it hit your chest, then your back. Breathe through the shock, feel your body adapt, then step out, dry off, and notice the rush of energy that follows. You'll stand taller, think clearer, and something deeper inside, that primal, steady fire, starts to flicker again. Greg stuck with it, and after a few weeks, he told me something I'll never forget. It's not just about feeling more awake, it's about reclaiming my edge. I forgot I could feel this alive without relying on anything outside myself. And that's the point. That edge isn't gone. It's just been buried under years of habit, comfort, and distraction. Cold water pulls it back to the surface. By ending your morning routine with this bold step, you're not just refreshing your body, you're sealing in the message that you're ready, alert, and fully switched on. It completes the circuit. It brings everything together. Your breath, your blood flow, your hormones, your mindset. Now that you've learned all 8 habits, simple but deeply powerful, the question is, how do you turn these into a rhythm, a lifestyle, a transformation? Because what comes next isn't just a summary. It's a step-by-step guide to making this yours. So your mornings work for you, not against you. And it might just be the beginning of a brand new chapter in how you feel, perform, and live as a man. Let's bring it all together. Conclusion: bringing it all together. I know that if you've made it this far, something inside you is ready for more, not just more information, but more life, more energy, more strength, more connection, and not just for performance's sake, but for something deeper, for dignity, for presence, for the quiet pride that comes from knowing your body still works, still responds, still honors the man you are. We've walked through 8 simple habits. And maybe you were surprised by how natural they are. A glass of warm lemon water to awaken your liver and reset your hormones. 10 minutes of sunlight to spark testosterone and align your internal clock. Gentle breathing through alternating nostrils to calm the nervous system and unlock blood flow where it matters most. delaying breakfast to shift your metabolism and give your body space to burn fat and produce testosterone naturally. And then, gratitude, not just as a practice, but as a daily anchor for rewiring the heart and mind. Followed by visualization, helping you reconnect with the most vital image of yourself, strong, grounded, desired. We moved from the mind into the body with the horse stance and arm swings, awakening pelvic circulation and prostate support. And finally, we sealed it all in with the cold splash or shower, a moment of controlled discomfort that calls your body back to alertness and resilience. None of these take more than a few minutes. None of them require a prescription, but together they form a powerful sequence, a routine built not just to help you have better erections, but to help you be better in how you show up, how you feel, how you carry yourself. I've worked with men for over 3 decades, men who've built families, careers, legacies, and who often think their vitality belongs to the past. But I've seen what happens when they commit to something small every morning. It's not just their sex life that comes back, it's their spirit, their humor, their curiosity, their confidence. It's the version of them they thought they'd lost, quietly waiting beneath the surface, ready to return. The truth is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do every single habit right away, but you do need to start. Maybe it's with the lemon water. Maybe it's just stepping outside in the morning for 5 minutes of sun. What matters is momentum. What matters is reclaiming your rhythm, day by day, one breath and one decision at a time. This routine isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you were before stress, time, and silence crept in. And realizing that man is still there, right beneath the surface, still capable, still alive. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't just roll out of bed, rise with purpose, follow the path, feel your energy shift, and let every habit remind you you're not done yet, not even close. If this video spoke to you, if even one of these habits made you pause and think, yes, I need this, then don't keep it to yourself. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend, a brother, or anyone who might be quietly struggling with the same challenges. You never know who needs to hear this message today. Your comments matter more than you think. Drop a comment below. Let me know which habit you're going to try first, or share your personal story. I read every single one, and your words might just inspire another man to take his first step. And if you'd like to support this channel and help us create more content like this, for real men with real solutions, consider donating. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps us reach more people and provide more tools for men's health and dignity as they age. You're not alone. You're part of a growing community of strong, wise, and determined men who refuse to give up on their vitality. So stay with us. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep showing up for yourself. You're worth it.